Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, Makeshift Happen, the spiritual variety show. Come on in and welcome. Welcome and join us today live. Wow, been a whirlwind. I tell you what, been a whirlwind of a morning already. Made it home just in time from the chiropractor. Whew. Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Lee with Makeshift Happen. Come on in. Get your glass of water, your cup of tea, whatever it is that helps to soothe you as we come together today and talk about let's start in this conversation about the different magical things and how the universe talks to us, how these other beings talk to us. For those of you that are new to me, I'm Tammy Lee. I am an accelerated. Yeah, I already feel the energy. I'm an accelerated, intuitive, and way shower, guiding you and others to their sovereign, sacred self, reconnecting with that within us, opening up to the inner vast landscape that we all have that is waiting for us to come, to be with it, to be with ourselves, to be with our essence. Each and every one of us is so loved, so cared for, so supported. Each and every one of us, no matter where you're at in life. And to be able to tap into that magic. To me, it's magic. To me, it almost feels like otherworldly. You know how people have talked about creating their heaven on earth? That's when we connect to that part of us, to our sovereign, sacred self, of becoming sovereign. Even when we have that thought, okay? This is what we plant within our landscape, And as we tend to that thought, to that intention of desiring to become sovereign, things will show up for us. People will show up for us. I did some major work yesterday. You know, there's a saying that healers need healers. I work with a lot of energy medicine myself with my clients, whether it's one-on-one or in groups. And I know when it's time for me to reach out to somebody else. There's a few people I have in my elite circle that I reach out to when things need to be looked at, when I know I can't do it all myself. So I reach out to other people that I know can help hold sacred space for me, to be with me as I travel inside my inner landscape. And sometimes these things show up physically. And no, that's why I said I just got home from the chiropractor. And I did such a deep, deep work yesterday that I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, some of my wrinkles are gone. I really felt like there was a different look on my face. And I just sat with that and just kept looking at myself. And today, as I'm in town and I'm going from one place to another, I'm noticing, see, this is what can happen. I'm noticing And I'm noticing messages from the universe, from the fairy realm, from the so just take a deep breath for a moment. See, there's other realms out there that are actually around us that desire for us to connect with them. Wouldn't that be fairies? And I bet you did that as a child. And when we keep that childlike essence with us throughout our lifetime, when we do this inner work and we allow that childlike essence, because that's something that happened yesterday, I could feel this little girl, because I have been having for years issues with my right hip area. Okay, like the hip girdle, even like the socket in the hip, and my lower spine, so it gets out of whack, right? I've had 5 children, and they've been big babies. My first baby was 10 pounds 6 ounces at the age of 17. 2 years later, I have another baby. She's 9 pounds 14 ounces. So see, almost 6 pounds again. And then I had another 9 pound 3 ounce baby 2 years after that. So part of having those babies and being so big is according to what a doctor had told me, that my hip girdle didn't go all the way back together. So there's different things that I, to this day, still work around. However, with that thought, with that diagnosis, I guess you could say, I look beyond that. I look like, okay, hip, what is it that you are trying to tell me? This is one of the things that you can do with yourself. For instance, when I was working out like 8-9 years ago, I had a coach. I had a workout coach, and he had me stepping from the floor up on a box, kind of like the size of a milk crate. Okay, so up and down, that's all I was doing. This because we were working on my balance, and I had 2 really light weights in each hand, and I'm just stepping up and down, and my left knee starts hurting. Maybe it was, I don't know. One of my knees started hurting. And I could feel the emotion in the knee, because I knew, okay, knee, what is it you're trying to tell me? And I could feel the emotion. And I did everything I could not to start crying in the gym. So when we ask our body, and I'll tell you in a minute what my knee said to me. When we ask our body, what is it? Like when we take that deep breath, because how many people get angry? They get angry at their body when their body aches. Oh, my freaking back again. Oh, my freaking, whatever. I'm saying it nicely. Like I hear this. I hear this of other people. They complain about how their body doesn't work like how they want it to. But our body is also trying to tell us things. So when I'm in the gym this time and I'm, stepping just up and down, and I had to tell him, like, wow, there is something wrong with my knee doing this simple exercise. So he gets me a lower step. But in the meantime, while he's getting that, I'm tapping into my knee and asking it. And I hear the words, I do not feel supported. Knees are about support. That's one of the things our knees do for us. So in that, and I could feel the emotion that's stuck in there from knees not feeling Like there's more than just the knee not feeling supported. There was a space somewhere in my life because my knee told me I do not feel supported, that I chose to go there and look at that. So right now, with our bodies trying to tell us things, okay? Our bodies are trying to tell us things. And when we pay attention and we start to ask, what are you trying to tell me? Well, yesterday I knew I needed more help than just me. Yeah, something's really happening to where my nose is itching like crazy now. What does that mean when your nose itches? Somebody's talking about you, I think. So, okay, so let's just take a deep breath. So yesterday, when I'm working on my hip, like deep, I go inside. Like I can now, because I've worked so much on it with me, with my inner landscape, that I can tap in really quickly. And within the socket of my hip joint, I could see black goo. Now, there was things that came out of that. Okay, let me rephrase this. There were things I became more aware of when I was doing this work, of things that I did not even know in this lifetime that were there. Because when we don't take care of things in other lifetimes, or we might have a family member that doesn't support us, because I believe we've lived different lifetimes. That is my belief. That is my experience. So there were things from a different lifetime that followed me into this lifetime. And because I have become so aware, because I've been doing my inner work for so long, that I'm becoming more and more aware of things. And I even ask, show me more. What else needs to be cleared? What else needs to be healed? What else wants to speak up? And I could feel the sorrow within that hip, within my hip, within that joint, that black gooey stuff, sticky tarish. When we, and this is something that I help my clients. We dive deep, and sometimes we find these things, and sometimes we find an implant, or we find an agreement that we've made in a different lifetime or timeline, or we find sometimes we even find a curse. There's a client I had that I helped him to find a curse, and because he couldn't figure out why he couldn't excel in his gifts, and there was a curse that we had to remove. Okay, so yesterday, doing this deep work with 3 other ladies, and they're all working with me and on me, and so, and together we're doing this. So I just got a message that we're having trouble streaming to Facebook. Well, I'll just continue, and I guess we'll just go from there. So hopefully the streaming just keeps on going. Okay, so within the work I did yesterday, and then this morning, I woke up and I look in the mirror. I'm like, wow, I look a little different. My skin looks smoother. And I felt like there was less wrinkles in my face. Because things like that happen, dear ones. Things like that will happen when we do our inner work. I actually found energy and thought forms from a grandmother stuck in my hip. And I had help to clear that, to bring that out and heal that. Because I could feel the shame. Now, I'm not going to go into the story of what the shame was around, but I could feel shame and guilt stuck within the hip joint, within my hip joint. I did not even know it was there. Do you know shame is the closest thing to death? The energy of shame is the closest thing to death, to real despair. There's not much difference. Like, have you ever had that feeling you just want to fall asleep and die? Be honest with yourself. I have. I'm 50. I'm 58. That I have had that feeling, that sense, through different points of my life, even as recently within this last year. Now, and I don't make myself feel bad about that. I go into that feeling and I ask more questions. Like, where is this coming from? Is this mine? Is this mine? Sometimes we're carrying energy, thought forms, projections from other people. Sometimes we've just absorbed it without knowing. Okay. Now, my aunt, my mom's twin, she's been here the last 3 weeks. So I've been spending a lot of time with my aunt and with my mom, more than usual. It's been 2 years since I've seen her. And I just love this woman. I love hanging with her. So, and I've been asking, and like, my body knows that I want to do the work. My being self. It's like, and I don't know if it's from that lineage, my mom's lineage. I don't know. And that's okay. We don't have to know the complete story. That's one of the things that would hook me up when I was younger. I would think, well, if I knew exactly, let's just say an emotional. If I was really emotional, like, why am I so emotional? Like, I used to cry. I used to even bawl at Hallmark commercials. Not just their movies, but just the Hallmark commercials. But there's a reason why. Yes, they're sweet. Yes, they're just, oh, they touch the heart. But why was I so emotional? I dug into that. It's because I never felt loved. There was an aspect of Tammy that never felt loved growing up. Never felt loved. And I had that throughout my entire lifetime. There's still pieces of that I'll find every now and then that are hiding. That are hiding. We have aspects of ourselves that even hide in the background because we're so used to judging things if they don't look like a rosy garden, when they don't fit inside this box, or when they even surprise us. So this morning, and this is what I'm getting to, this morning when I look in the mirror and I see a difference, I'm like, wow, that work I did yesterday is already showing up today. Okay? Less than 24 hours. Less than 24 hours. You will see things shift and change within you and about you when you do your inner healing work. So today, as I'm driving in town from one place to another, a road that I've driven down like countless times in my lifetime, I see a fairy house. Now, remember how I said that other realms are wanting to talk to us? I see an old stump about the size, like as tall as maybe my waist, and they put a roof on it, and it's on the corner of a block that I drove by, and I'm like, whoa. Now, when you have something that makes you go, whoa, in my experience, the universe was talking to me right there and then. I wasn't yet due at my appointment yet. So I went around the block and I came back to it. How many times have you had something that made you look twice? How many times have you like, oh, I want to see that again. Oh, what was that? Oh, that you need to just put on the brakes, whether you're in a car or whether it's just part of life, where you need to just put on the brakes and go around the block and look at it again. Yeah. Feel all that energy moving. Yes. So right now I can feel that energy of that gratitude of all these different realms. Noticing, oh, Tammy, did you all see that? Because they speak to us. Did you all see that? Not only did she notice us, I have no idea how long that's been there. If they did not have a beware of the dog sign on their fence, I would have went up to the front door to, one, compliment the people for creating this big fairy house out of a stump of a tree that was cut down. Okay. I would have went up to the front door to a strange house that I don't even know the people that are in there. Knock on the door and say, thank you. Thank you for what? Thank you for doing what you did with that fairy, with that tree stump. Because the essence of the tree is still there. Just because it's cut down doesn't mean it's dead. Okay? The essence of the tree was still there. And creating this fairy house wonderland. I'm going to post pictures later. But creating that, making something out of what we think maybe is nothing. And maybe, so I didn't think about this till right now with all of you. We have a tree that died. Okay, we have like a 300-foot driveway. And we have these Austrian pines and then another kind of pine that line the driveway. Most of it. Last summer, because of the rains we've had, I don't know if the ground was just so soaked, 2 of them fell over. Even after trying to save them. Bolting them down, and it's like they were done. They were done. It was time. We had no clue, right? Like I could feel, I cried. I literally cried. When they fell over. They're like 70 feet tall. We've had them for over, God, Tim and I have been married 40 years. I bet we've had them I bet we've had them close to 30 years. These trees that line our driveway. Can't even, like, they're still there. They're still laid over. And what we found out is that their root system wasn't as developed. Like, wow. But they've been here for 30 years. We've had a lot of rain before, but now they were done. So why? I don't know. They were, actually, I do. That's another story for another time. And then we had a third one. It's standing straight up. It didn't turn green. It didn't stay green. It's like, what is going on? And it's right next to the tree where fairies live there. So, seeing this tree stump, I don't know, maybe that was like, hey, Tammy, here's an idea. This is what you can do with that one tree that's still erect. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to go into that a little bit more and see if that's what that tree wants. Because that essence of that tree that's still erect, I can feel it right now as we're talking about it. So see, sometimes these different realms, they want to speak to you. They want to help guide you. So as I went around the block to go back and take pictures of this incredible little fairy telluric realm gnome looking little paradise, I guess, I don't know, on the corner of this block that I drive down just all the time. But again, I would have went up if the would not have a sign on the door or on the fence saying beware of dog. I would have went up to the door, knocked on the door, say thank you. And then also ask, how long have you had that there? Because I've never, ever, ever noticed it before. But the more when I got out of my car and looked at it, I can tell it's been there for quite some time. But I never noticed it until today, after decades of driving by that house. So I go around the block, and what else do I see? Rows of tulips. Like, wow. Like the whole block felt magical. Felt magical. And as I get out of my car and I'm taking pictures, I look up and there's a neighbor across the street and she's just waving. So it's like a welcoming. You better believe it. I'm going to be going down that block again, and I'm going to get out of my vehicle and I'm going to walk up and down that block. Just to take in the essence. Because to me, there's something there that wants to speak to me. I felt a welcoming in a block. Yeah, it could sound crazy, right? I even have one of my clients, she goes on walks almost every day, and she was walking by this house. And she just said something about that house kept pulling me. Like, Tammy, there's something about that house. And I during one of our sessions we tapped into that house. Because here's something, everyone. The homes we live, like, they want to be appreciated. Our homes, there's energy in here, right? There's energy. There's energy within the walls, within the wood, within within your home, within the waters that come through your pipes, there's energy. And I'm telling you, there's times when we have to clear all the energy, even down to the studs that helped to build the house, down to the builders that built the house, down to where the trees actually came from within that forest. Because not all the trees say yes. Okay? Because there's people that don't pay attention to that. Reminds me of the Waltons when they had their own sawmill. And now I only know by what I saw on the TV show growing up, but for every tree they would cut down, they would plant another one. There was a caretaking. Thank you for that. There was a caretaking of utilizing. Wow. When we utilize the different substances of Mama Earth, there's a caretaking that goes along with that. Right now, I can just feel Mama Earth right now with us. And I can feel her. So those of you that can feel energy, I want you to take a deep breath. Mama Earth loves you. Mama Earth loves you. She caretakes for you. So in return, what we just had Earth Day. So in return, how can we caretake for her? One of the things I'm looking into is cover crops. Wanting to understand that. Being here on a farm and having multiple acres that we plant crops in, how can we better take care of this land? How can we be caretakers? Be caretakers of this land to help it to enrich it even more and more and more, because it wants to provide us. The land wants to provide us, wants to take care of us. It wants to be rich and full. So cover crops is something I'm looking into. Probably, I don't know that that's ever been thought of all these generations of being on this land. Nobody I know in this area, we might be the first. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with looking like the weird one. Yeah, I just heard this voice saying, well, you're doing really good at that, Tammy. And that's okay. And that's okay. And that's okay. When people call me weird or strange or a dork, especially my grandkids, when they call me a dork, I know I'm on my path. I know I'm on my path when I'm called a dork. So what? Okay, so that's a good segue. What are signals for you that tell you you're on your path. I've always been outrageous. And every time that I would try to, thinking I was too much, thinking I had to, oh, not dress that way because I wanted to fit in this way because people would look at me strange, and now I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. But I used to allow the looks of other people. I used to allow the looks of other people that I would get make me feel like I was not good enough, too outrageous, didn't fit in. That I had to be a little bit calmer so I wouldn't put other people off. That's all gone now. That's all gone. Because within me, as we do this inner work, our confidence grows. Our foundation solidifies. And we become the true gem we came here to be. Yes. So let me know, what is it that tells you you are on your path? What is it that tells you you're on your path? So go ahead and share those things. Okay. So seeing those yellow. So I told you before, I went around the block. How many times do you literally stop? You go out of your way. Stop and you go out of your way. You allow, okay, I wasn't going to be late for my appointment. Okay, I still had 15 minutes. I knew I'd make it plenty of time. I want to challenge everybody. I want to challenge everybody for the next week to pay attention, to be aware, even ask in the morning, okay, Spirit, okay, Tammy Lee, okay, Universe, help me to be aware of the messages you're bringing me. What else was popping up? Is all the lilacs that are blooming. The universe was showing me, like I was going down streets that I normally don't go down. But I was allowing the universe to guide me. To guide me. To get out of my mind, stay in my heart, and guide me. Guide me down the right and perfect street to drive down. You know, sometimes we get in our car and we have this single focus. Okay, I want to get to the grocery store. I want to get in. I want to get out. Boom. I don't want to linger. I have other women say, oh, I don't like going shopping. So what do? I got my list. I know I'm going to go to the grocery store. This is an example. And then I say, universe, guide me. Open me up to your messages. And then you walk in the grocery store and they're giving away flowers. Wow. Or on your way to the grocery store, You see something that catches your eye. And instead of keep going to the grocery store, you tap on the brakes. You go around the block because that's sometimes how things appear. They appear out of your peripheral. What was that? Why did my eyes, see that? Why did my essence go check it out? Go check it out. Go check it out. And let us know. Because I have a sense, I'm feeling it right now, even with me, that there are so many messages that we are overlooking. Yeah, I can even feel it. Says like all these elementals are like, oh, they didn't see that one. Okay, well, let's try this one. Let's try. Oh, they still didn't see it. Okay, well, let's go. Well, maybe they'll see this one this time. I could feel the joy and the giddiness when I stopped to look at this tree stump that was now a fairy house. Even had little doors on it. It was like adorable. And one of my daughters has one of those on the side of their house. You know, like when a tree, you got to cut it down because it's interfering with the high wire lines, or it's so close to your foundation that it's going to ruin your foundation because of the roots pushing the foundation in. So yeah, there's sometimes we just got to take care of things. But we can do it by blessing that shrub or that tree before we actually take it down. And then if there's still a stump, create something with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to be perfect. And they might think I'm crazy and weird, and that's okay. They might think I'm crazy and weird, and that's okay. Ooh, I just got chills. So what have you seen? What has caught your eye that you poo-pooed, or you were too busy, and not to make you feel bad, okay? Because I poo-poo things too. Or I just like keep going because I want to get that project done, or gotta get here so I can get here. But then, certain time strains. But when we slow down, when we even ask, okay, universe, what is it you want to show me today? What is it you want me to be aware of today? What is it you want to open me up to today? Because I've been asking to have more of a relationship with the telluric realm, which is what all the elementals, with the unicorns, with the leprechauns, with the fairies, with all these other beings I didn't even know of, with beings that I might not even know. Yet I'm welcoming them to come into my life, to allow me to see them, to know them, to hear them, to sense them. That's one of the ways we can work on our inner landscape. So I was just remembering this. Okay, so telling stories to other people also help to develop those relationships. So I kid you not. Last week I was with my mom and with my aunt and one of my daughters. Maybe it was two of them. I don't remember exactly. And I was telling them a Sasquatch story about my interactions with etherically, I guess. So not like in person I can touch you, Sasquatch. Yet I have had Sasquatch visit me and talk with me and hang with me at times when I least expected it. Okay. And I'm telling this story to my, and I'm like in my head. So I'm telling a story about Sasquatch and me hanging out. And as I'm telling this to my mother and to my aunt, it just started coming out. And I'm thinking in my head, why am I saying this story? They're going to think I'm totally flipping crazy. Especially like the look on my aunt's face and like, okay, Tammy's had a little bit too much of something, but not sure what it is. And yet I did not let that deter me because it's none of my business what other people think about me. It's none of my business what other people think about me. So as we share with others, I had a client do this. She started sharing a few things. Now her mom and her dad, like she's like, oh my gosh, they're loosening up around stuff like this, Tammy. Yeah. So as we loosen up about ourselves, we can also loosen up with other people. Yeah, little by little, step by step. Sometimes it's like that. And sometimes like you got Tammy that just like goes full in. But when we start to have that confidence, when we start to have our own mantra, it's none of my business what they think about me. That mantra that I have said for years and years and years, that worked. Like I could hear the voice of that mantra. Okay, keep telling the story of you and the Sasquatch. Don't let what your aunt may think about you. Don't let that deter you. When we work on our inner landscape, darlings, that starts to help that grow. That helps to instill a confidence within us. So for the next week, I want you to do a couple things. I challenge you. I encourage you. I like that word better. I encourage you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, I encourage you to start noticing where the universe is talking to you, where these different realms are wanting to get your attention. Me going around like, okay, I need to go, like, what was that? Oh, wow. I need to go around. I need to go around the block and find that. Look again what that was. On the way there, found these tulips, like rows and rows and rows and rows of yellow tulips. And yellow means another significant thing, another connection with another realm. So I know that realm and the Pleiadians were also talking to me, welcoming me, because that dimension is one of the colors is yellow. So the universe, these different realms are reaching out. They're wanting to speak with you, connect with you, contact you, maybe even build a relationship with you. Are you open to that? Are you open? Does it make you scared? Does it make you like back up? Or are you saying, yes, I want that? It understandably, it can make you scared because it could be something you're not used to. Don't let your fear hold you back. Don't let your fear hold you back. Embrace the fear. Walk hand in hand with it. Fear is a different thing. Fear is usually we're afraid because we of the unknown. We don't know. So I yawn a lot when energy's moving. I can really tell energy's moving. So let me know. Let us all know. Let's keep this chat, keep this conversation going on inside our Facebook group, Ignite Your Joyful Heart. And let's see where the universe is attempting to connect with you. What are you noticing? Are you putting on the brakes so you can notice more, or go around the block? You know, that is a great way of just being in life. How much does that actually relate to life? Of putting on the brakes, going around the block, revisit, revisit, revisit. The universe, these different realms, your magic is wanting to create connection with you. Thank you, everyone that joined today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at hello@theemeraldcompass.com, or send me a private Facebook message, or just send me a message right here in our wonderful Facebook group, Ignite Your Joyful Heart. And we'll see you next week, if not before. Cheers, everyone.